Hello and welcome to my Autism Ally podcast, where we come together to share helpful information about autism. In this episode, we're speaking with Taylor from Sensory Cuts here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. She brings a therapeutic approach to hair care and hair cuts for those with sensory processing disorders. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome, Taylor. I'm so glad you could come and join us today.
I am so excited. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is just a super awesome experience. I'm really excited.
Well, great. So let's get started. How about you tell us a little bit more about yourself, Taylor?
Yeah, okay, so my name is Taylor Talamantes, and I am the founder of Sensory Cuts. I started Sensory Cuts in March of this year, so 2021, and it has been an absolute blessing for me. But this idea of mine actually started many, many years ago. My background starts with a degree. So I obtained a degree in psychology at IPFW. So it started there. I then was given an opportunity to work directly one-on-one with individuals with autism. And I started as a registered behavioral technician right out of college. So I went straight into the ABA world, so applied behavioral analyst world, and it was amazing. I single-handedly believe that it has been the best part of my life up until opening my shop. So if you knew me at any moment, probably within a year into being an RBT, you knew that I wanted to be a barber, and not just any barber, but a barber that specialized with kiddos who have sensory disorders. So this is a dream of mine that's probably now been going on for 4 years. In between being an RBT, I was like, let's do it. Let's jump in. Let's try it. So I actually jumped right into going to barber school, which those are really long days. It started off, I was doing both at the same time. So I left my home at 7 in the morning, and then I didn't get home until 9:30 at night. During the day, I was an RBT, and then my evening, I was a barber student. And that was really, it was difficult, but it was so well worth it because it was the closest that I got to both worlds combined without actually combining them. So I actually got my barber's license through Ravenscroft Beauty College in Fort Wayne. And then after that, like I said, I just took a leap of faith. I didn't really have anybody to look up to when it comes to barbering and sensory processing disorders. So I really was nervous, but I jumped in, and I'm so happy that it's kind of turned out the way that it has. With being a therapist for almost 5 years, working one-on-one with these kiddos, I've really been able to have a great background and a great show of these worlds that these kiddos have.
Well, and you're so excited about it. Like your face, like to explain it is, you can tell that you're really where you should be. Like this is your jam right here.
Yeah, I 100%. This is where I feel most myself I've ever felt in my whole entire life.
I love that.
So cool.
So because you've talked so much about that, what that has inspired in you, was there a certain kiddo that, kind of hit, like they were struggling with haircuts? Or, I mean, like what was that initial inspired you to do it?
So I have a few different people, a few different things that I look into or that have inspired me. In the very, very, very beginning, so this was probably 4 years ago, my biggest inspiration was just everyday life with these kiddos. Being an RBT, you worked with kiddos with teaching them how to tie their shoes, brush their hair, eat correctly, sit down and listen correctly, say hi, so there's so many different things that it covered, but single-handedly watching watching all my families, I was like, what can I do that's different? I am a kind of against the grain kind of a girl. I follow the rules, but I like to be different. I like to kind of come out of the normal everyday life, and I want to be a little bit different. So that's really kind of where it started. My uncle, he's actually a barber from Fort Wayne. He has a barbershop. It's called Rico's Barbershop. And he has been a big inspiration for me because he came from basically where I am at. He started off and he has grown so big. He's a very well-known barber in Fort Wayne, and he was a huge inspiration. And he's actually helped quite a bit throughout my journey. And then, I mean, I'm inspired by all the talent of all the barbers in Fort Wayne. There are so many individuals in Fort Wayne in the barber industry that has so much talent. It's so awesome. And every single time those other barbershops have a win, I'm so excited for them. It's so cool to see the community in the barber world grow, and the community in the sensory processing disorder world grow. And I'm super stoked to be in the middle of it and like watch them kind of both collide. So my inspiration comes from other barbers and from the families that just have helped me be like, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do it. Let's do it. Let's try.
That's great. And I can tell you, as a parent of a son who absolutely loathed haircuts, that we tried everything when Matthew was little. I mean, my main goal was to get in and out as quick as possible so that I could get him home and get him in a bath afterwards. Because so much of what his sensory issues was like the hair all over him, because he would refuse to wear a cape. So he would be covered in hair, and it was just like, buddy, if we just put the cape on, we wouldn't have the hair on. But he wasn't going to have anything to do with that. So it was feed him gummy bears as fast as the hairstylist could cut his hair, and then drive home so that he could have a bathtub waiting so you could run and jump in, or you jump in the pool, or, you know, whatever it was to get that sensation, that feeling off. And even today as an adult, that's his main goal. When I'm done with my haircut, I really want a bath. And so, you know, it's those kinds of things that it's like he's just so sensitive with. So
and those are things that I would say 9.5 out of 10 of my parents that come in specifically for the sensory program, those are the problems that are shared amongst many of the kiddos.
So walk us through what a haircut at Sensory Cuts looks like, and how does that differ from a typical hair salon?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I obtained my barber's license, so I can cut hair for any ages, any types of hair. I obviously was mainly trained for men's haircuts, short haircuts, etc. So, the biggest differences for being in the program at Sensory Cuts than any other salon or barbershop are that I'm in a private suite. So I pretty much have control over my entire environment. So if a kiddo is being overstimulated by either the music or by really bright lights or too many noises, too many sounds, I can really specialize it to who they are. So if they are somebody who really, really enjoys music, we're going to bump that music up and we're going to have a fun, exciting haircut. But if they are a kiddo who may be too overstimulated by noise, we're going to turn that music down and we are going to be calm, cool, and collected. So I really try I don't have a glove that fits every single kiddo or every single experience. So I really kind of have to use my background in ABA in that form where I know that not every kiddo is going to be the same. So I can change my room up. I also provide motivation, so like motivators that help the kiddos kind of be like, okay, this isn't so bad, which are the fun stuff. Juice, candies, snacks, all that good stuff. I actually have a tablet that they can watch shows the entire time if they want to. They can also play some games if they want to. And some of my older clients, usually I have fidget spinners and fidget toys that if an older adult isn't really into toys and snacks and candy, that they can actually use that for desensitizing their or kind of calming. I've got weighted blankets and all kinds of things that really provide a safe feel of the barbershop chair or the barbershop itself. I have specialized clippers as well. So usually your normal clippers, they're kind of loud. And that's normally one of the biggest reasons why kiddos have a fear, because jumping right into like having it connected to your ear, this loud noise can be scary. So I have quiet clippers. They're about 10 to 15 decibels quieter than your average clippers. And then I also have clippers that are specially made that they don't have a motor at all. And I can use those to cut as well. They're a little bit more difficult, but they do help. But my biggest point that I always try to make sure everybody understands is that my point isn't to always give these kiddos or these individuals a haircut with the quiet clippers or no clippers. My program is designed to help them be okay with the loud clippers and sitting in a chair and having everything be as quote unquote neurotypical as possible, so that they don't have to stay with me for forever. If they graduate out of the program and they can go to the barbershop that their father has been going to for his whole life, then that is something that I'm super stoked to be a part of. You know, I want them to be comfortable to go other places if need be. If not, stay with me for the rest of your life. I will be so happy.
That is awesome. I'm glad that you thought that through, because sometimes you come up with a fix for or a solution for a problem, and you don't think it through about what does this look like when the individual gets older? What happens if, you know, for some reason Taylor ups and moves and we got to do this with somebody else? So I'm glad that you're providing a process that graduates them to being able to go anywhere. That's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, specifically with the program itself. So my I have different services. So I have just your neurotypical average, your haircut, your men's haircut, your women's haircut, and your kids' cut. And then I do have a program. The program itself is the sensory cut therapeutic approach. In this approach, you get put into a program where, as I said before, there's no gloves for anybody. So all the kiddos are going to have a different start, finish, and what have you. But my mind frame in going into these are, I want to meet the kiddos where they're at and help them be where I am or where we want them to be, rather than expecting them to be okay with getting a haircut straight from the first time they come in. So it's an hour long. You get an hour long session. And during that entire hour, I'm working on showing them the tools, showing them how I use it, what I use. And as mentioned before, a lot of their backgrounds are being like held down. They're screaming, yelling. So it's pretty traumatic where they may have come from. So I basically have to reteach them to say, hey, look, it's not so scary. Let me teach you. Let me show you how it's not so scary. So we work on desensitizing, touching the clippers, feeling the clippers, holding the clippers, touching the water, feeling the water, spraying the water, holding the water. And of course, we have a lot of fun doing it. So I am covered in water by the time we are done with like water play. My face is filled with dripping water, and I just love it because these kids are more comfortable at the end of that and at the end of those sessions. One big thing I like to note is I do not guarantee a haircut. And that is because my number one priority is comfort of the kiddo with a haircut, and my second priority is a haircut. So the reason I do not guarantee haircuts is just because if the first time they come in, it's just the same as the last experience they had, the therapeutic approach will mean nothing, and I will be just the same as any other barbershop. So we start where they are, and then we get them as comfortable as they can. Once they can sit in the chair for a full 30-minute haircut without moving, getting up, or like any big breaks, they are constituted as graduated. I do not put kiddos in the program if they just have autism, or if they just have Down syndrome, or if they just have ADHD. It is connected directly with haircutting. I have many autistic clients that do not have any issues whatsoever having a haircut, and they're graduated out of the program. So the stipulation isn't the diagnosis, It's the process of the haircut.
What would you tell parents ahead of time to help with that appointment?
So some of the bigger things that I always talk to my parents about when they come and they start the program are no longer connecting a negative attribute to the haircut. So a lot of times when, even after like the first experience that you have that might have been like not so great, so bad, right? So traumatic, holding them down, screaming, yelling. So they're now connecting that negative experience with a haircut. So I always tell the parents, start to watch videos. Things like, videos, Blippi, I don't really know many anymore, but all of those videos, any video that you can find that connects a fun experience with haircutting, do it. If you have the opportunity to have your little boy go to dad's haircut or grandpa's haircut or mom's haircut and see that it's not so scary. So look, mom's getting her haircut. It's fun. It's exciting. I'm having a good time. I tell the parents also, if they leave and come back from their haircut, talk about it out loud. Their kiddos are probably always listening. They, oh, I just got my haircut. I had so much fun. It was exciting. I also have parents place clippers or spray bottles or anything that's a little bit more scary for the kiddos. Place them in neutral areas, countertops, bathrooms, anywhere that's visible, so that when a kiddo sees them, it now becomes, oh, it's just a clipper. That's not so bad. Or, oh, those are scissors. That's not so bad. So really, any way that you can connect a positive connection with haircutting, whether that be brushing their hair, holding their, or rubbing their hair, any of that, I totally advise that before. You can download apps on your phone. They're labeled as like prank apps, like prank clipper apps, but you can get clipper sounds on your phone that you can have your kiddo turn on and turn off. That can help desensitize that noise before coming in. You can watch, I have a few videos on my website, and you can watch the videos on there to see what it's going to be like. When a family does sign up for a sensory cut, I do provide them with a welcome letter. And in that welcome letter are different ideas, tools, and tips and tricks that can help them before they even come into the shop. And some of those are a daily schedule. So they can actually see, first we do this, then we do this, then we do this. And they can see my face. They can see other kiddos going through the process as well. So showing them a schedule of, okay, this is what we're going to do. Doing like a mock fake haircut, or giving them little toy boxes, toys that they can have. I have a set in my shop of toys that I actually let the kiddos have when they go and grab my scissors. I'll actually say, oh, these are my scissors. I'll come get you a pair. Come on over here. And we actually give them a pair of play scissors so that they're like, oh, I guess it's not so bad. Like, this is pretty cool.
Getting them involved.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good piece right there.
Many times. My hair gets fake cut all the time. I'm not kidding you. I wear a hat often, and the minute I take my hat off, I'm like, all right, let's do this. We're gonna get our hair done. I actually have a mannequin head that helps me as well. Her name is Linda, and all the kids love her. Like do her hair and cut it and brush it and spray it. So
it's funny that you'd say that, because you're talking and all of a sudden I'm like having flashbacks to myself as a young child cutting Barbie hair.
Yeah,
my
definitely.
mother would go ballistic about cutting Barbie hair. But I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's sacrifice a Barbie or two in the name of sensitizing your kid to haircuts and not making it so scary. So just to kind of review, what ages of clients again do you serve?
So any ages, from young to as old as what have you, it doesn't matter. I'll do any age. The youngest I've done in my shop is 9 months, and he had more hair than I probably do in my head right now. So he was ready for a haircut. And I do cut. I usually try to stay above 9 months or above a year. 1 year is usually around my age, so 9 months wasn't too far off, but I don't know if I'll go any younger than 9 months. And I think one of my oldest clients I have is probably in their 60s or 70s. My oldest my oldest individual in the program has been 16 years old. And he had traumatic experiences throughout his entire life. And now he actually graduated and he can sit through a haircut perfectly. And it's super awesome. So, but I
That's
will do
awesome.
any ages.
Well, and with that, I mean, I would think the sooner to get, especially if you have those sensory
Yes.
concerns and issues, having that starting off right, you know,
Yeah,
getting,
introducing.
yeah, would be beneficial for sure.
Yeah, I do have a lot of younger individuals that are their first haircuts, and I obviously can help provide a little bit quieter, calmer experience instead of like a quick, let's do it haircut.
I love that. So where are you located? Because, you know, if we want to come see you, we need to know where you're at. And I know you've moved around a little bit too. Or have you always been in the same location?
I've been in the same salon, but different rooms. The very, very first room wasn't necessarily my first pick, but it was what I had available to me. I actually just recently moved again, and I am done moving for a little while. But this is actually a really big thing. I am located at the Lux Lounge. It's off of DuPont. The address is 410 East DuPont Road. And like I said before, I'm in a suite, so it's my own room, and I am officially fully handicap accessible.
Yay!
So I have a room on the first floor that I'm super excited about. So there's no extra scheduling needed, or not having to contact anybody else. So it's my room, and I'm on the first floor, fully handicap accessible. So I'm super excited.
Well, and we'll definitely in our show notes have the location. We'll have some of the links to your videos that you talked about as well, because those are obviously highly important to help our kiddos.
So, Taylor, if I call today, when can I expect to get an appointment? How far advanced are you scheduling?
Yeah, so it really just depends. My weekends, my Saturdays fill up pretty quickly. I would say if you're looking for a weekend for a Saturday haircut, you're kind of probably going out 2 to 3 weeks. But my weekly times, my evenings fill up pretty quickly as well, and I'm out probably about a week or two there as well. But during the day, my schedule is pretty open. Those are more daily filled than average. So you're looking anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks for those times.
That's great. Just as much as my hair salon.
I was gonna say it's no different than any other hair salon.
Yeah. And I always suggest using my booking app. You are more than welcome to call, and I will totally walk you through everything. But I have an app. It's you can actually look on Booksy. If you look on Booksy and you look up Taylor Talamantes, my information will pop up, and you can book at your leisure. You could literally be in the middle of the night when you wake up at midnight and you're gonna go like grab a snack, like, oh my gosh, I need to do a haircut. You can't call me at midnight. I'm gonna be sleeping. So you can actually get on that app, and it's very easy. Click the service, click the time. I wake up in the morning and I approve it. So there may be moments where I switch it up and say, hey, can you come in 15 minutes earlier or 15 minutes later? And that, so you can go on that booking app. My website is also available, where it has a direct link to my booking app, and my website is sensorycutsfw.com. And there you can see some testimonies and information about the haircutting experience and book right online.
Great. We will have those links available in the show notes with Taylor's website, the booking app information. You also have a Facebook and Instagram that I think you share a lot of your success stories and stuff on.
Yes.
So
yes. My Facebook is probably my most used, and I also have an Instagram. My Facebook is just Taylor Talamantes, and then my Instagram is Sensory Cuts FW.
So we'll put all of that stuff in the show notes. So if you're looking to either get yourself or one of your loved ones on the autism spectrum a haircut, we would highly recommend Taylor.
So I want to just tell you a quick story of one of my clients. The first time they came in, they were extremely timid. The sound of the clippers would scare them. Even just the onset of turning them on, they would hide behind mom, hide behind dad. So it was a very telltale sign of what the journey was going to be in the future. So to start off with, I just played with them. We sat down, we hung out, we exchanged pictures and things like toys. And I kind of tried to build that trust between me and this kiddo. We proceeded on each session. I believe this individual had 3 sessions before he was even comfortable enough for me to touch the clippers to his head. The absolute day, the day that he was comfortable, he sat down in the chair and he got the cape on and he got the tablet in front of him, and I went in for the first official clipper to head cut. And I'm not playing with you. His mother said, "I'm so sorry for me crying, but you have no idea what this has done for me. I have never seen him sit quietly and comfortably during a haircut. Do you mind if I video chat my husband so he can see it too?" And I said, 100%, let's do it. And so in that moment, I mean, I got the chills just telling the story, but he now comes right in. He asks for a snack, asks for a juice, puts on a show, and he sits perfectly. They actually, he is a kiddo that they would put him into a little burrito and hold him down. He would be sweaty, crying, tears, hair everywhere, very uncomfortable. So it was a really big moment for me, for his mother to say to me, "Wow, I don't think you realize what this is for me. Thank you so much." And I said, "Oh no, thank you for trusting me with your kiddo for his journey to get better."
Oh my gosh, that gave me tears. Like,
Oh my gosh. So thank you very much, Taylor, for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a pleasure. I'm super happy to be a part of your guys' podcast and spread the word.
this next segment, you may be an autism parent if
You know you are an autism parent if your kiddo's hair appointments are set up longer in between than yours.
If you would like to submit a You May Be an Autism Parent If, please call us at 260-207-4686 and leave us a message. Maybe you'll hear it on our next podcast.
Thanks for listening. Please stay connected with us on Facebook, Instagram, and sign up for our newsletter at myautismally.org. Talk with you next time at the My Autism Ally podcast.